Hello and welcome to the next video tutorial of this series. Over the last video tutorial, we learned variable and data type. In this video tutorial, we are going to learn about typecasting and a method which is present in Python called type to identify the type of the variable. So let's look into it. So if you remember from the last video tutorial, we have this program. So we have checked that how we can define integer, float, complex, string, list, tuple, set and dictionary. Now we'll try to identify the method which can help us to identify the data type of the variable. So in Python we have a method called type. So inside type, whatever the variable we will pass, it will give the data type of the variable which is stored in that. So in case I want to check the data type of variable a, so you know that the data type is integer, but the compiler is not aware what is the data type stored in the variable a. So to check that, we'll write type, and inside the type function we'll pass the variable whatever. So in this case we have written type a because we want to know the data type of variable a. So let's run this program. To run this program we have to write py and the file name, and the file name is first.py. So okay, since we have not printed anything, that's why we did not get anything on console. So to print this, again we will write print, and then inside print we will pass type a. So again let's run the program, and you can see that it has printed class int. That means the data type of the variable is int. Again, to check the data type variable of b, we can write I'll copy from here and I'll paste over here, and I'll pass b. Let's run all of them in one. So I'll write d. So if I'll try to run, first let me clear the console and again write this function. So to run this function I have to write py first.py. So you can see that the data type of a is int, the data type of b is float, and similarly data type of c is complex, and data type of d, which we can see that we have assigned a string value here, that's why it has given a class str. Now we'll try to check the data type of these variables, which is e, f, g and h. So let's replace this from here, e, f, g and h. Again let's print this, and we can see the output, and in console it has printed the data type of e is list, data type of f is tuple, and g, and we have to write here h. So let's again run it, and you can see the data type of e was list, tuple, and data type of g was set, and similarly dict was the data type of h variable. So this was the method how we can see or how we can check the data type of each variable which is used. So now the next step which we are going to talk about, the type conversion. Type conversion refers to converting one data type into another one. So for now let's remove this, and we will keep only this 4 line, because we can convert only this integer, default, complex and string value into in one into another. So we are performing operations on only these variables. So let's do that, how we can convert one variable into another or one data type into another. So suppose in this case I want to convert the variable integer into float. So to do that I will take a new variable. Suppose I am defining a variable e, and I want to initialize the value which is already integer, but I want to convert into float. So to convert the value which is already into integer into float, we have to pass the value over here. So which value we want to convert into float is a. So the variable, whatever the value is stored into variable a, we want to convert into float, and then want to insert into variable e. So let's print the type of e, And let's see now what is the type of the variable e. So I expect that the type of e should be float. So let's check. So you can see that the variable value was stored into a was integer, but since we converted into float by the method float over here, so that's why the value when it assigned to e variable, the value was e. The value was 10, but the data type was float. Similarly, we can convert any float value into integer. So suppose I want to convert an float value into integer. So to convert it into integer, we have to write int method. And suppose we already have a float variable over here, and I will paste it here, so that now the float value 10.5 will be converted into integer and will be stored into g. So let's run it again. To run the method, we just return here, and let's say what is the value has been stored into variable g, and we will also try to find out the type of g variable. Let's clear the console and run the program, and you can see that in g the value is 10 and type is int. Since we have converted into 10.5, we converted into integer. So this way we can convert one data type into another. Now we comes to complex conversion and float conversion. So to convert a value to convert an integer or float value into complex one, we have to write complex, and inside complex we will specify a variable a, and let's assume that we are initializing into a variable h. Now let's try to print h over here, and let's see the output. So you can see that the value a, which was an integer value, has been converted into complex value and has been initialized into a new variable h. So you can see the output, it is in complex format. Similarly, if you want to convert any value into a string, so to do that, again I am taking a variable I, and inside I variable I want to convert the value 10, 10.5, 10j, whatever you want to convert into a string, you can pass over here. So in this case, suppose I am trying to convert a float value into a string one. So the float value is in our b variable. Suppose I want to convert this, so I'll write b over here and I'll print the value I. Let's see what is in I. So you can see that the value is 10.5, and that if you'll check the type of 10.5, so we are supposed to get an string over here. Let's see that. Print type of I, and the type of I, if you check, it is str. So this was a tutorial which covers how we can convert one data type into another. So if you have any doubt, you can write it into the comment section.